Good evening. I'm calling to order the Municipality of Monroeville's Citizens Night and regular council meeting for March 9th, 2021. It is approximately 7 p.m. Could all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Roll call, please.
Mayor Grieslock?
Here.
Mrs. Gators?
Here.
Mr. Poach?
Here.
Mr. Harvey?
Here.
Mr. Wolfram?
Here.
Mr. Arasinko?
Here.
Mr. Williams?
Here.
Mr. Wilson? Mr. Little?
Here.
Mr. Ratcher?
Here.
Ms. Rock? Mr. Hugus?
Here.
Mr. Zedlack?
Here.
Mr. Weldon?
Here. Welcome, everyone. We're going to start off, this is our Citizens Night. We're going to start off with, we have two presentations this evening. We're going to start with Ernie Groover from the Monroeville Foundation, who has a presentation for us. Welcome, Ernie.
Thank you, Mayor Grieslock. And hey, thank you for having me here this evening. For those who don't know me and maybe in the audience, my name is Ernie Groover, and I am president of the Monroeville Foundation. And first, I want to thank the council excuse me, for all your support in the past. It's been invaluable to the things we do at the Monroeville Foundation. And I'm here today to ask for your continued support for the Monroeville Foundation and the plans that we have for 2021. Everyone recognizes the limits put on us by the pandemic, and it has certainly curtailed the things that we had originally planned to do for 2021. So our normal community day that we would have, we didn't have one in 2020, we will not have one in 2021. That is our major fundraiser for the year. Unfortunately, the pandemic and the government restrictions will not allow us to have a community day for 2021. However, we do have some significant fundraising activities planned. We will have a golf outing on September 13th at Meadowink Golf Course. We will also have a 5K run and walk, and we want your support there so that we can utilize the Community Park West. This year, we have just received word today that Forbes Hospital, Allegheny Health Network, and Highmark will be a partner with the Monroeville Foundation for the 5K run and walk. So we have planned that for October 24th. In fact, Kanu Sani from Highmark and Dr. Rubino from Forbes Hospital, they're sending their well wishes. They wanted to be here today to partner with us, to stand here with us. However, they're down at the convention center doing vaccine shots. And I think Dr. Rubino's been down there since 10 this morning. He sent me a picture and he said there's a ton of people down there. So we're going to have their support. And lastly, we would like to have a jazz festival this year. That's still up in the air. We don't know. If we do have a jazz festival, it will be late in the year, like late in October or something like that. Hopefully it won't be too cold. But if not, that will sort of curtail the funding that we normally raise. We've given away a substantial amount of money in 2020, and we're getting requests for 2021. So we ask the community to continue doing that. And we do have funds related to COVID-19 that we want to utilize for different projects where people or businesses are hurting. So that's the other thing that we're working on right now. So once again, I want to thank you for supporting us in the past, asking for your support again in the future, in particular for the golf outing. I know some of you guys play golf. Love to have you out on September 13th. That's a long time from now, at least it seems like it right now. So that's what we're doing at the Monroeville Foundation. And once again, we appreciate everything that you do.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Next from our Recreation and Parks Advisory Board, Gordon Kahn.
Hello, everyone. As was mentioned, I'm representing the Recreation and Parks Advisory Board this evening.
Can you take your mask off, sir?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
So I'm here to kind of just quickly outline our 2021 goals and objectives and some of the things we're going to be doing this year. This isn't a comprehensive list, but it'll give you a pretty good idea of where we are and what we're doing. One thing to point out is that the spring 2021 program guide has gone digital, so it's now online. You go to the borough site, and it's much greater than it was before. I think it's 27 pages long, so there's a lot of information on there for the public to avail themselves of our programs, and also how to rent pavilions and those kind of things. So that's a big advance for us, and it gives us one of our overlying goals is to increase obviously usage of the parks, but increase communication between Monroeville residents and the board, and of course through our staff, so that we can implement and make things better. Obviously, using the fantastic resources that we have in this borough. I've kind of 21 parks. It's tremendous, and we also have the access to the bike trail and to Boyce Park. A couple of things, specific things. We're involved with the Greenleaf Park upgrades. I'm not sure that you're aware of this, but we're going to use salvaged equipment from the Evergreen Park redo. We had a grant to get new equipment, and so the playground equipment will be replaced there and will be new. So then we're going to re-salvage and use some of the other equipment over at Greenleaf. We want to also announce to the public that we have a grant for a valley. We're calling it a Valley Park rehab project, but it's much more than a rehab. It's there's going to be a new bridge that goes from Valley Park over to the Westmoreland Heritage Trail, so that and additional parking there, pavilion, bathrooms, and of course we want to thank the council for your support on this. And as a board, we want to thank our staff for writing the grant applications and getting those things approved. They did a great job. We're also, just to mention the Westmoreland Heritage Trail, I represent Monroeville on that trail board. I've done that I've been on the board for a long time. I'm also the membership chairman, so anything that people need to know about the trail, I'd be delighted to tell them about that. Obviously, for those of you who aren't aware of it, we have a trail that now goes from Trafford up to Export, and then from Delmont to Salzburg. We're working on completing that gap in that trail. And then also the county's working on taking our trail from Trafford all the way down to the waterfront. So we'd be able to ride our bikes from Monroeville down to the city of Pittsburgh. One other thing to advise you of is that the Pioneer Park deck hockey court is in bad state, and was recommended and our board approved taking that down. And we're looking at other options for that, perhaps pickleball. Also want to just mention, obviously, like anything, it's been a difficult year for parks. On the one hand, we're getting great utilization of the parks because people want to get out and walk and do things. But on the other hand, our programs that we've wanted to do and have done for many years are much more difficult to do under these circumstances. But we are still having an Easter event. We are having the Jack Zedlack Cleanup Day, and we're looking at a new event, perhaps sometimes in the fall, to help support the parks. So that's, we also have, like everyone, we have social media sites. We have a Facebook page, and we're trying to increase that platform and increase the communication between the public and through Parks and Recreation. Any questions?
Yeah, did you say you're taking the deck hockey court down at Pioneer Park?
Yes. Well, that's what we're recommending.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
In the new way that the brochure is not going to be mailed, it's now digitalized. It has all the board members' names and phone numbers
Right.
with each ward, so therefore people can reach out directly to their ward representative and/or to you directly, say for the
exactly.
the trail. So I
Exactly.
think that's a great
Except
step
for complaints,
forward.
we want those directly to Paul. Okay.
Complaints to
Yeah.
Mr. Estock,
Yeah.
please.
But
Yeah.
no, that's a good point. That's public information now. We have all of our emails on there so that the public
And that's
can-
new. That was
that is
never
new.
available, so I think that's a good step
those
forward.
comments can come from the ward to the board member and then to staff and back to you folks.
Perfect.
I have one more.
Yeah.
Are you still gonna have Little League Baseball this year?
As far as I know, yeah, I don't think there's any,
Yeah, that's not run by the municipality, but Monroeville Baseball Association is running baseball and girls softball this year.
Oh, because it was in the parks, I thought.
no, and we, you know, there was some interruptions last year, but baseball took place.
Gordon, what about the 18-hole?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Disc golf
Yeah,
course.
yeah,
Oh, my God.
that's we're having, adding 9 more holes to the disc golf course over at, I don't know, what do we call that, Community Park 2 now, or 1? I get confused, but it's at the east, I'm sorry, east.
Park
East.
Yeah, the Community Park East is getting, some additional holes to the Frisbee golf, and,
It's
that's
up on
been-
your monitors, everybody can take a look at what they're proposing.
And this is an organization that's supplying a lot of volunteers, and they're looking for some assistance from the municipality
I
as well.
think they're providing the additional equipment and some volunteers, and I think our staff is gonna help to install some of the equipment.
Is Public Works involved in this?
I believe, yes, to some degree.
Okay.
One question on the trail, Gordon. And
Yeah.
I just thought of this now, and I don't know why it makes that big of a difference, but I think, the fact is that the other side of the bridge goes over into, it lands in Penn Township,
That's correct.
too. No issue with Penn Township?
Oh, they've been very much in support of this. In fact, they helped sponsor some of the initial studies that were done to
Okay.
determine that we could do this. And just to make you aware, obviously, this Westmoreland Heritage Trail is 99% in Westmoreland County. And we're very lucky as being in Monroeville that we have a mile and a half or so in our borough. And speaking of Public Works, they help where they can in terms of if trees go down. And most of the maintenance is done by our board and by citizens. But the Public Works has been tremendous in helping us with some of these projects. They also take down the knotweed. I don't know if you're not familiar with that.
Yeah.
It's a terrible
Awful thing.
invasive plant that seems to grow around the stream beds and hillsides, and so they help us to keep that clean and well-maintained, and have done a tremendous job for us.
Gordon, I mean, Jared, can you put that illustration of the disc golf course back up on the screen? Okay, I just want council to understand, see where the brown shaded areas are? Those are going to be landscaped out with either a brush hog, trimming back some trees and some limbs, just so council's aware of that. That's what's going to be done. Some volunteers are gonna do some light work, and then our Public Works Department's gonna maybe come in with a brush hog or whatever they need to clear out the brown shaded areas, just so council's aware of that.
So if we had the organizers meet with us as far as specifically laying out what they were looking for, just to
Well-
make sure that we have the capability of doing what they're asking
Right.
and the manpower to do it and the equipment, so maybe we need to coordinate.
Exactly, I mean,
Meeting.
I think they need to meet, obviously, with Mr. Hugus, Mr. Estock, Mr. Strom, myself, have a meeting in the conference room back there, so we're all on the same page on what's gonna happen and who's gonna do what,
And when it's gonna happen.
and when it's gonna happen, right?
Well, you'd be better off actually probably meeting on site, so everybody can see.
No, that might be
exactly what's-
that might be a better idea, yeah.
But I think it's a great project. It's definitely a lot of fun. It's a nice amenity to have in the community. A lot of tournaments. There are
Right.
tournaments for these events, but since we only have 9 holes, they're always looking for 18 holes, so
Yeah.
we'll get overlooked. So I think it's a very positive thing for the park, as long as it can be.
Right, and we're
Yeah.
always looking for different assets to add to our parks like this, especially when we get support from outside of the borough, and,
Yeah.
obviously, that's a big thing for us.
Great. Thanks, Gordon.
Thank you.
Good job.
Good job, Gordon.
Thank you very
Good
much.
job.
To the whole board. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to remain actually in our Citizens Night part of the meeting. If there's anyone from the community that would like to address council on any municipal item, now would be your chance. roll. Is anyone else signed in? David is.
Dave, Ernie was there, and Clay.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Good afternoon. I promise, even though there's a PowerPoint, it's short. I just like to show you
Always
pictures.
entertaining. Not a problem.
I timed it, it's short. I used to come every month, and now with the pandemic, you know, we can't do that, but I wanted to give you an update of what the library is doing, what we can offer right now, and the feedback that we're getting. So Jared, if you could put it up whenever you have a second. We have some cute pictures, not as many as when we can have in-person programs, but some great outdoor and some parents sharing things from home. I just want to thank you for your continued support of the library and give you a quick reminder and remind our community what is currently available at the library. Currently, we are open for in-person usage. That includes browsing, computers, and children's browsing by appointment, 10 to 4 Monday through Thursday, and 10 to 11 on Friday. We also have extended hours for material pickup, computer use, printing, copying, faxing, picking up tax forms, which is very popular right now, and community information from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and 9 to 4 on Friday. Our contactless pickup has been a huge success and a much desired service in the community, so much that we're talking countywide about how to offer it without taking up so much space once the pandemic is over, because some people are so used to it, they love it, they want it to continue. So we're trying to find a way to make that happen. With the availability of this contactless pickup, we have circulated close to what we did pre-pandemic per day open, about 1,200 items per day. Another popular addition to library services has been our book bundles. On this slide and in your packet, because I know it's hard to see them on the slide, so Council, I did give you more information, and I will put it on the website for anyone who's not here. Another popular addition has been these book bundles. And the bundles are for people who can't or don't feel yet comfortable to come in on their own. They can fill out a form online or call and answer a few questions, and our librarians put together a selection of items for them. We offer the bundles for all ages, and our trained staff have become experts in curating these bundles. In addition to this being convenient, many patrons have mentioned that they love it because it's introduced them to new titles, authors, whether that's books or films, that they might not otherwise have picked up. One father, I was out there putting books in the contactless pickup area, and he said to me that it used to be picking out books for your kids every visit was like trying to decide what to have for dinner every night. And he said, now someone picks them for us.
That's a
We
good
love
analogy.
it.
I like that
I said,
analogy.
okay, so we're happy we can do that for them. Another service that we have been able to offer, of which you can see several happy attendees on the slide, are book walks. And we have been very thankful to be able to do that with Parks and Rec several times. And we will be expanding that in the spring and summer, again, in conjunction with Parks and Rec. Book walks give families something to do together while still being safe and maintaining social distance. We've had a lot of positive feedback from families who've done the book walks, both on the library grounds and at the parks. In addition to what I've mentioned, we also have reference assistance 51 hours a week, which lately, as you can imagine, has been answering many questions about taxes and vaccines. We do our best. We continue to post updates on our website, connecting the community to assistance with social services, as well as current vaccine information. We've been able to offer a limited amount of virtual programming, and we're also very happy to be able to offer ebooks to download and streaming content that can be accessed from anywhere. If community members don't know where to get started, just give us a call and we can help them over the phone. For those who don't have the internet, you can imagine this is a particularly isolating and difficult time. We've been fortunate to be able to offer Wi-Fi hotspots to give them that access. In fact, the Friends of the Library just recently assisted us in purchasing more to meet the demand. We also offer Wi-Fi in the parking lot so people can use their devices in their cars, whether we're open or not. In all, we're doing the most we can with the resources available, and the community is appreciative. We hear every day, thank you for being open. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so glad you're here. We are very thankful to be able to welcome people back into the building and meet their needs as much as possible. In addition to offering opportunities of education, entertainment, and access to important resources, we also offer a community connection. My staff is happy to welcome back the many patrons who look forward to their library visits and getting back to connection with the community. We've also noticed that our easy-to-use contactless pickup, which is one of the only ones in the county that does not require appointment, has brought in new people who haven't used the library in the past. The library is a resource for everyone, and we are thankful to be able to offer what we can at this moment with the resources that we have, and we thank you for your support and your time.
Nicole, if I may,
Yes.
been getting some inquiries that, from some residents asking, why aren't we having, like, do you have anybody on a weekend or evenings yet?
Some, not evenings yet, and not weekend yet.
What would you need to do that?
To do
The
partial-
evenings and the weekend, because I've gotten some emails on that. Matter of fact, just today.
To do partial, like a half of a Saturday and 2 evenings, we would need, and being fully open at 9 a.m., we would need about 5 of our part-timers back. To do our full Saturday, including 4 evenings, 2 shorter ones and 2 later ones, we would need about 8 to 10 of our part-time employees back.
Council, I'd like to make a motion to, for 5 part-timers for the library to at least assist.
Well, I'm gonna second that, because we've had major discussion over the last year of that, and I think it's time for us to allow some of the part-timers to come back to assist the public. So I'll second that.
Counselor's motion and a second. Any other questions or discussion about this? I would just ask Tim, is there money in the budget?
Yeah, the money is in the budget, you know, for 5 part-timers.
Do we know the cost on that?
Offhand, no, it depends on how many part-timers would be called back.
And which ones?
We're saying 5.
Oh, 'cause it's different rates.
Well, but it's in her budget. She can pick which part-timer she needs the most back, I would think.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
That's something her and Tim can specifically, work out. Any other questions, council? Motion and second. Roll call, please, Sharon.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Wolfram?
Aye.
Mr. Osinko?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
You guys have it.
Thank you so much. We are looking forward to what we can do with those part-timers and helping our
Well,
community.
thank your
You can't
residents
walk
that,
away.
Oh, no.
Oh, I can't walk away.
No, we have to give you a little kudos and a little pat on the back. Nicole was actually quoted in the Borough News magazine and talked about Monroeville and our libraries, and, you know, we as a council thank you for your words and your dedication to the library.
Thank you.
It's been awesome.
Thank you.
So, yeah, you couldn't walk away without a big thank you. And I also would like to thank Mr. Osinko for making the motion
Thank you.
to bring the library a little further along for the public.
well, Nicole, you should thank the residents that sent me emails. They made it perfectly clear that we need to do that. And
We thank them every time they come in the door and every time they call on the phone, because they tell us how happy they are that we can offer what we can, and we're
Well,
very
it's
thankful.
Creeping back to normalcy.
Yes.
Yes.
yeah, I think
yes.
that's the key.
It kind of makes you feel like things are getting,
Step in the right direction, and we look forward to hopefully towards summer, if we can have even a few more, we can start doing some outdoor programming, especially for children and families.
can I ask one more quick question? Is there any chance that we can kind of put the word out? Maybe we can try and get some volunteers for the summer?
We can,
I'm
definitely
not sure with the
outside.
COVID. Yeah, that's why,
With
when you said
COVID,
outside,
it's-
it made me,
With COVID, it's hard, but outside, definitely.
yeah, that may be a good way. So,
We
okay,
can certainly look into that. Thank you, everyone, very much.
thank you.
Thanks, Nicole. Is there anyone else who'd like to address council?
Dave's following on.
Dave English, Ward 4 Representative and Library Board President. Thank you very much. That is wonderful. That puts us on the key to what we need to do to try and meet the residents' requests and their pleasure at having access to the library. What I'm sharing are some of the notes that have been sent to us, directed to you, sent to us, directed to us, thanking you and thanking us for all of the efforts that everyone is making, and hoping that we can continue to progress in this challenging time. We know as a board how difficult this is for you. Municipality has many things they must provide, but I personally feel that the amenities in Monroeville, the library, the senior center, parks and recreation, are the amenities that set Monroeville apart. It makes us very special, keeps people moving into the municipality, and keeps people here over time. So we can't thank you enough. We look forward to working with you as the year progresses, and we appreciate all of the residents' support throughout. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
guys.
Dave.
Thanks, David. Ward, Emily, and the new folks back there, Nicole, well done.
Is there anyone else who would like to address council on any municipal matter? Seeing none, we're going to close that portion of the meeting, and we're going to move over to our regular council meeting. We have an executive session announcement. The council conducted an executive session before tonight's council meeting on Tuesday, March 9th, 2021, from 6:30 p.m. until approximately 7 p.m. for personnel and litigation reasons. Council legislative action, if any, shall be taken at tonight's council meeting. Council, we have the minutes of the Citizens Night meeting of February 9th, 2020, and the regular council meeting of February 9th, 2021. In the wrong year. It's been a whole year since we've had regular meetings, so maybe that's where I'm at. But, so council, just so we're clear,
Mayor.
February
Oh, he
9th.
signed in?
There's a gentleman, I
gentleman
think,
signed
signed in.
Oh, I called. Let me hold this.
Yeah.
No problem.
Did you sign your
Come on
name
up.
He did.
So folks, we missed somebody on the
Yeah, we
Citizens Night. We'll reopen up Citizens Night for you.
I was here August 2019.
Sir, if you just state your name for the record.
Clayton McDonald.
Yeah, you want to take your mask off? I can't hear you that good.
Clayton McDonald, 252 Clover Drive. About the streetlights on Clover Drive. I don't know if that's working.
We'll
but
get it up there, Clayton.
It was unanimous. Everybody on Clover would like a streetlight.
Okay.
I've lived there for almost 5 years now, and there's still not a streetlight. I'm moving out of there, but I just wish things would go ahead and get some streetlights and light up Clover
You have
finally.
that's a petition?
Is that a
This
petition?
is a
Clay?
petition
You
that
wanna-
you gave me
Right.
when I
yeah,
approached you at the gym.
Yeah.
You
I'd
hand
have
it in?
never heard nothing about this.
Oh,
Yeah, we need the
Here-
petition, Clay.
We need to get the petition handed in first.
Okay, well,
You can hand it to us now.
somebody could have explained that to me. That would have been awesome. Communication would have been key. Somebody need this?
Go ahead.
Hand it to
I'll
somebody.
get it to who needs to.
Yeah, so now that we have it, and then council will act on it, because we actually have a streetlight that we are going to be approving this evening. So the process is, we get the petition with the signatures from the residents, and then first we have to check to see if it's possible, or if it's, where it's possible, and we move on from there. So it's something we'd probably have to work on for next month's meeting.
Good to go.
So yeah, we have it now.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, wait, before, looking at the petition here, Clay, are you saying here that you want a street light on every one of these
You
poles?
wanted tags, I just gave you the tags.
Okay,
There's one at the very beginning of the street, and then I would say every other one would suffice. There's only 7 streetlight or 7 telephone poles total.
Clay, do we have,
One light.
sorry, could you come back up for a second? Do you have your contact info on here, or your phone number? Can you write it down on here?
I
Yeah.
can.
Because that way we'll do, let's have staff go out and look at the site.
Yeah, I was
And then we'll
just gonna
contact
say,
you, and
just-
then
yeah,
maybe
put
you
your
can help
phone
direct
number on
them a
there,
little
Clay.
bit.
Moving out of Monroeville no later than August, so my son graduates from Gateway in June and going to the Marine Corps, and I'm gone.
Even just at the top, you can throw your phone number. That way we can get back to you, so everybody, we're all on the same page.
Mr. Little does have my email. We have had communication.
okay, thanks.
Thank you. Folks, I'm sorry, before we move on, is there anyone else that would like to address council on any municipal matter? This also includes anything that we will be discussing on the agenda. This is This is your last chance to speak at this point. We will have another opportunity at the end of the meeting to speak if you so desire. So seeing none, we're going to close this portion. We are going to move back over to our regular council meeting. I did make the executive session announcement, but council, we're going to move over to our minutes, and we'll see if I can do this better this time around. So we have our Citizens Night meeting of February 9th, 2021, and the regular council meeting of February 9th, 2021. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions or changes? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Rosinko?
Aye.
Mr. Wolfram?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Reports of our tax collections. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Wolfram?
Aye.
Mr. Rosinko?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Council, list of bills and budget transfers. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
Motion is second.
Keep this moving.
Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Rosinko?
Aye.
Mr. Wolfram?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
The ayes have it. And our payroll report. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Wolfram?
Aye.
Mr. Rosinko?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Council, moving over to our vacancies on boards, commissions, and authorities. It's in your packet in the blue section. Mr. Williams, I'll start with you this evening.
I have none.
None this evening. Mr. Ursinko.
I have none this evening.
Mr. Wolfram.
I have one, Mr. Mayor. I have one, Mrs. Debbie Dillman for Parks and Recreations.
I'll second.
And what are we doing, Steve?
Nominate.
Nominate.
That's a nomination?
Yes, I thought I said that. I'm sorry.
No problem. Motion second to nominate. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Anything else, Steve?
Nothing, sir.
Mr. Harvey?
Nothing.
Mr. Poach?
Nothing.
Mrs. Gatos?
Yes, I have a couple. I would like to nominate Ed Lukowitz for the Police Civil Service Commission.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, nomination and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Mrs. Gatos?
Yeah, then I would like to appoint the 6 people that applied, that sent in for the Human Needs and Resource. We appointed them all, we nominated them all last month, so I would like to make appointments of all of them. Cheyenne Dunbar, Sherry Lindsay, Mary Washington, Nancy Philpott, Scott Philpott, and Dr.
Truly.
Cerulli.
So, second rather.
Motion is second to appoint.
Correct.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Now, with that being said, that will now open that board back up, which has been closed. So I thank the public for actually sending in interest, and it will allow us to reopen this board. They used to have the meetings, Mrs. Griesbach have them at the senior center. She may want to move back up here. So, Mr. Little, I think that's something that you both need to discuss, and then you can advise everyone, since this is actually a new opening of the board again, as to, what the board actually does, and, Mrs. Griesbach can decide where she wants to hold her meetings.
Well, it's a combination of, because Mr. Williams, I believe, is the council liaison for this board.
No, I thought, who is the council liaison, Mr. Arsico?
I believe it is,
Mr. Williams?
And then Mr. Little can appoint an administrator in human services.
Oh, well, Mrs. Griesbach always was, so I didn't know.
I
that was
think
changing.
I'm gonna take a look at that and see, maybe appoint somebody else. I don't know yet. I'm gonna take a look at it and see if anybody else we're gonna
Oh,
appoint.
I thought,
And Mrs. Gatos, you were the board liaison for many years before, so maybe you could help Mr. Williams
Well,
out
and Mr.
help the board get up and running, because you dealt with it for quite some time before Mr. Wilson did it. But I think
Yes.
you had probably more meetings than Mr. Wilson.
probably. Yeah,
Maybe you
because
could
it
really
shut
help.
down, it shut down pretty darn quick.
Yeah, we didn't have a lot of interest for quite some time, so
Right.
maybe you could help
And
out.
maybe, I'm thinking maybe they could actually work with the foundation as well.
I think there's a lot of options,
excellent idea.
foundation,
Yeah.
the,
So-
Never
I-
thought of that.
Yeah, I think it'd be a wonderful
thought of
segue.
and the Interfaith Ministerium, yeah, they are already kind of doing a lot of, dealing with a lot of the human needs and resources in the
So
community.
there's a lot that can actually tie this whole thing together, and this could be very productive.
Good. But like I
So-
said, if maybe you could help with Mr. Williams, since he's new to it, and you
Yeah.
did it before, and Mr. Wilson's kind of
Well, and
out right now.
I don't want to say your wife, but she's done it since Mr. Johns was on there. So in dealing with a lot of the public issues and giving information out, I think she,
What's it administrator?
Great.
That's, the council liaison kind of helps with what council's
Yeah, I'm
looking
gonna talk,
for.
I'll talk to.
yeah, but I thought
And
she
then
did
the
I thought she did a
administrator-
great job, so I just thought she would be really good to stay there. But we can move on.
Okay.
That's it. That's
Anything
everyone I
else?
have.
Very good.
All the people that are up here that are nominated, are we supposed to act on them this month?
Oh, well, council, it's the pleasure of council to act on anyone they want, whether they want to nominate people, or if they have already been
No, I'm
nominated.
just talking about the people that are nominated. Do we have to act on them this month?
No, we
No.
don't have
Okay.
this one.
All right, no.
Yeah, and we've talked about this before, it's a two-step process. People get nominated first, they have to wait for at least a month, then at the next meeting, at minimum, they would be appointed. They could be appointed at months down the road, or they could be maybe never appointed.
Okay.
So, at this point, that's where we're at.
Well, yeah, just a comment on that too. If council has any ideas about what the human, and we don't want to tell them what to do, obviously, but if we could get some ideas, because these are all new people coming onto this board, and I'm gonna meet with them, and Bob, you're gonna be there too, and give them some ideas to prime the pump, and I like the idea about the Monroeville Foundation, to give them some ideas of what they're supposed to be doing, what their mission is. And so if I could get even the public, some ideas of what the Human Needs and Resources Board should do.
But Tim, I think the mayor brought up a good point. The ministerium is also a real good place to
Exactly. Because
work
this
with.
board, it has a wide breadth of the different things it can do.
Well, there's the couple on there, they are actually part of the Historical Society.
Yeah,
So, there's some
yeah.
different flavors being brought together there.
Agreed.
Very good. So there's work to be done. But it's good we have more interest in the boards and authorities. There still are vacancies on some of them. So please check back to our municipal page, and if you're interested, get involved, please. Council, we're moving over to our consent agenda, our old business. Our first item, which actually it's 3 items of the 20-6-ST 4301 Northern Pike Partners LLC Starbucks. And we also have 20-4-SUB and 20-4-C. These, all 3 items have been tabled from the last meeting. Mr. Little, is there an update?
Yeah,
on these items?
we just received word today that the applicant is going to table, and this is if council moves ahead and tables this, then this will be the 3rd time this development has been tabled. We've had several Zoom meetings with the applicant's engineer, Gateway Engineers, our traffic engineer, HRG, and also PennDOT. And there's some really problematic issues with the ingress, egress, going into the site, coming out of the site, and how it affects Northern Pike and Moss Side Boulevard. And we just received the second review that PennDOT had from a secondary analysis that Gateway Engineers, the applicant's traffic engineers, did. And they meaning PennDOT, they kept with some of the issues that they believe really are not mitigated yet. And so the applicant late today emailed Mr. Wilden and asked that it be tabled again. And like I said, I think there's some issues with the development out there, and council can, they can table this tonight, and the applicant, if the applicant, I'm not saying the applicant's going to withdraw, but we apparently have some issues out there. Paul, you want to add anything to that? Mr. Wilden, you want to add anything to that?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to table, but if this is gonna proceed, I'd like a better explanation on what they intend on doing with the traffic situation there. I'd like the results of the PennDOT
Do,
study.
yeah, do we not just leave it as tabled? Then
Yeah, right now there's no
Do nothing
action.
with it?
Yeah.
So we
No
don't-
action.
No action?
if you want to leave it on the
Yeah.
table.
They have to,
So, Mr.
make,
Ratcher, do we need, I'm sorry, Mr. Little, as far as discussion, should we untable it?
No, I don't think just for the purposes of deciding whether you're going to table or not, I think you're okay.
Okay, so-
If you're going to get into the substance of it, yes.
Right.
But
I don't think we should.
But to Ron's point,
I don't think
council, if we want
we
to
don't have
table
any
it, we
information.
just take no action.
Just-
Mr. Williams?
I say no action.
Now, when these applicants come before us, there's a, what, a 90-day timetable?
that's been
If
extended.
the applicant tables, that stops the chain.
We're
If
tabled.
we
Well, no, they-
table, does that stop the chain, or is it still on a 90-day clock?
They have to grant an extension under the municipality's planning code, because you're correct. They have a 90-day clock starts once they submit, and it gets heard in front of the planning commission. The 90-day clock, as you well know, Bob, starts then. And if you don't do anything, it's a deemed approved. So if they didn't give the extension in the email that Mr. Wilden got today, this council would be forced to deny it.
Okay, so we're okay on the timetable at
Correct.
this point?
Mr. Mayor, may I ask, Bob, can I ask you a question? And on this issue for maybe next month, can we, and I can't remember, Ron brought up a good idea. Can we have a public hearing on this? And I'd love to hear what our own engineers are saying about it, in addition to Gateway and whoever else would like to come.
there is a public hearing, Greg. One of the things is a conditional use.
I
This
just
is
wanted to
site
make
plan
sure that
conditional
still
use
stays in
subdivision.
effect though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there would be a public hearing on this.
And can we get, Tim, can you make sure MS is here as well?
If indeed they're coming, yes, we need MS here.
MS, you mean HRG,
Our traffic consultant.
our traffic engineer.
Yeah, but don't you think we should also
Well, I
have
mean, if you
our-
want to have MS here, we can't have it, but I don't see the purpose of having MS.
For what
here.
purpose? There's no
we
purpose
can-
for them.
It's mainly a traffic.
It's more
Okay,
traffic
okay.
issue.
So
I'm good.
We're just
But
gonna
at this-
take no action.
Yeah, I think at
And-
this
and
point,
let's
I would
move on.
encourage council just to take no action, let it be tabled, and then wait to see what the applicant comes back with. And then at that point, we can decide if we have our engineers in and we.
Tim, will we get the results of PennDOT?
I can get, well, here's my thought on that, Ron, and that's a very good question on your part. You read traffic, and we're all lay people with respect to traffic engineering, okay? And you read that, and then you have more questions than when you started, all right? So my point being is this, is that I think
Well, why don't we
Darren,
just call him Bug Paul?
Darren Meyer, our traffic engineer, if you want to have a session with Darren, and obviously you can't have a quorum with council here, if one or two council members want to know something, then maybe we could set something up with Darren to explain the traffic engineering.
Well, that's what I was thinking, or if we saw the traffic study results, maybe we would be able to write down some specific questions rather than getting it
Right.
presented last minute at the meeting.
I have the last traffic engineering study from PennDOT here, but I think it would be beneficial that you had all six, I think it is, 6 traffic engineerings, 2 from Gateway, or actually seven. I think there's 3 from HRG, and then 2 from PennDOT.
Can we have all that explained to us at a separate?
Well, unless it's a public hearing, and if you're gonna have a quorum, obviously you have to have you have to have a public meeting. But, I mean, like I said, 1 or 2 of you, or even 3, there's no quorum. If
I don't care if the public's here.
Well, no, I know, you just want the information, and I
And
understand.
I agree with Ron on that.
I think it's better to do it at a public hearing.
I agree.
And quite frankly, it educates everybody about it.
Okay, all right.
Anything else, council?
Yep.
All right, moving over to our motions. Mr. Little, if you would.
Okay, first one is a motion to approve the 2021 engineering services with MS Consultants. There's just a slight increase in the hourly rate, which anytime you have a consultant, that's to be expected for 2021.
So move to
Second.
approve.
Okay,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay, number 2, motion to install a streetlight at Snowball Drive and Dahlia Drive on pole number 26. The petition is attached.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any comments or questions, council? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Wolfram?
Aye.
Mr. Rosinko?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
The ayes have it. That's it for our motions right now. Our resolutions. We have 3 this evening. Mr. Little.
Okay, first one is a resolution authorizing the distribution of grant funds for the Memorial Day Parade.
Mr. Little, if I may. I have had discussions with the committees for the Memorial Day Parade and the 4th of July Parade. Unfortunately, the 4th of July Parade is not going to be held this year on the 4th of July due to the pandemic. But they are going to do another spectacular fireworks celebration, and they've gotten a wonderful feedback from last year. So that will still happen on Sunday night at the mall, the fireworks. What they are proposing is keeping the money for the Memorial Day Parade, tabling it, so that maybe come Labor Day, they can do a parade based on what is going on with the pandemic, in conjunction with the 4th of July committee. So I'm going to ask if we table the distribution of grant funds for Memorial Day Parade, but we do go ahead forward with authorizing the distribution funds for the Monroeville Independence.
All right, let's do them one at a time.
So everybody's clear on exactly why and what is happening, and that was requested by the parties.
By both committees.
Correct.
So, Mrs. Gato, so you are asking for a tabling of the first resolution? for
Correct.
Memorial-
That way the money is held almost kind of in trust for that particular.
I'll second.
We have motion second to table. No further discussion. Roll call, please. This is just to table this item.
Is
Mr.
it
Williams?
both parades?
Aye.
Just the Memorial Day Parade,
We can't say.
or just the Memorial Day grant funds, the money for
Mr.
the.
Rosinko?
Aye.
Mr. Wolfram?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
The ayes have it. And then, Mrs. Gatos, then you made a motion to move forward with the resolution to authorize the grant funds for the Monroeville Independence festivities,
Yes.
which are primarily going to be.
The festivities
for
are going
fireworks.
to be fireworks.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Yeah, and then the challenging part was, still obviously the pandemic, but it's also the planning process and the participants.
Yes,
With
that's a big one.
a lot of maybe schools, the bands, they're not, so there were some concerns about how many people we'd even be able to have in a parade, and then certainly having spectators at a parade. But I think the 4th of July committee did a fantastic job with fireworks on Labor Day. And so, yes, they decided just to move that up, and I think it'll be a nice event for the community. So, any other comments or questions about that?
No, just to make sure that everyone is aware that it will be held on Sunday, July 4th at the mall.
4th of July night,
Night.
as we typically do.
Yes.
Very good. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Wolfram?
Aye.
Mr. Rosinko?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Mr. Little, our third resolution.
Well, before we get to this, this has to do with the advertising of the 2021 road resurfacing program, and all council has an attached list and also an illustration of the municipality where those roads are going to be either resurfaced, fog sealed, or crack sealed. Paul, do you have anything coming up on the monitor you want to show council before we actually ask for a motion on a resolution?
Well, it's always a point of discussion.
Welcome, Mr. Hugus.
Oh,
And-
it should be.
And as you go through this, as I typically ask you every year, if you could just briefly explain to the public as far as how the process, how roads are graded. It's not just we don't just pick favorites. There is a method to it, and if you could just maybe explain that to the public, please.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So the roadway systems are evaluated on a 1 to 10 basis, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst. So a quick breakdown, we have about 110 miles of municipal roadway system. Typically, you should be applying about $2 million a year to your resurfacing program. In the past, we've been at 1.5. This year, there's 1 million allocated for it. So, you're probably pretty much half of what you're supposed to be at. So trying to reverse engineer that into our budget the roadway systems are rated, and they're given what's called a PACER rating, which is on your list. So based on that PACER rating is whether they get a fog seal, a seal coat, or a traditional mill and overlay. Some of the wild cards for this year is, as if you've been watching, the oil index is a bit of a problem this year. I'm not quite sure where the bids are going to be because of the oil index. It's kind of why I'm about a month ahead of where we're at usually with the program, because I like to get it under contract before those oil index prices really take effect. Some other comments is we've been working with Wilkpen Joint concerning Township Road, McKinney, Marguerite. We've had several water breaks in that area over the past years. We've made contact with them. They're going to replace their water lines prior to us going in and doing the resurfacing of it. So we complete that job. And as we do with utilities in the past, with that, they still get a permit. We don't charge them any fees, and because we're resurfacing the roadways anyway. So hopefully we get that taken care of. But it's a smaller program just because there's less money.
Question?
Yes.
If come the time that we are actually relooking at the budget just a tiny bit due to the fact that, we don't know what April 15th is actually going to look like for us.
Yes.
And we would decide that maybe we wanted to add a little bit more money to that. Would that be a big challenge to add additional, and with the costs already being in place?
Well, the bid opening won't be until next month.
Okay,
So you're into.
we're kind of,
You're getting pretty close, but we can do change orders to the contract within
Mr.
a
Hughes,
certain
didn't in
period
the
of time.
past couple of years, we double the paving budget from 1 million to 2 million?
Did last
we
year.
took,
Yeah,
yes.
we've increased it in the past, yes.
And
Yes.
until, I think Mr. Little's not comfortable to even consider that idea until he sees what's coming in on April 15th. He's always kind of stood on that date.
Well, I agree.
Right, and in
And-
fact,
Right.
I was talking to the tax collector today, and it's too early even now. They're only starting to put in about 5% of the submittals from the business privilege tax just this week. They're just starting to
Yeah.
put the data in right now.
So, but there is a chance, maybe we can expand.
Yeah, but based on our rating system, we could pick the next series of roads
Okay.
that are eligible, that make sense to fit within the program.
Thank you.
Because all the roads have already been graded.
That's
The
correct.
Scoring's already there.
That's
Right,
correct.
and then that's what I
Correct.
wanted the public to understand, so that if we did throw more money in, we're not just gonna grab,
No.
it's gonna be done exactly
There's a
like this.
methodology to it.
Correct, thank you.
And these
Sure.
are predominantly, Paul, usually the bad boy list.
Yeah,
Right now,
absolutely.
this
Yeah,
is-
your mill and overlays are sort of, you're to a point where you need to do something with them, because structurally, they're getting to a point where you have to rebuild them, and that's gonna cost a whole lot of money. The next step up is the seal coat with the flush coat. They're the next series of roads, so it's a staircase fashion of resurfacing.
All right, well, thanks, it's always difficult for you guys.
Yeah,
Wish we had more.
Okay?
Sorry.
thank you.
No problem.
Okay, so we still have a resolution.
So do I make a motion to approve? Motion?
Second,
Second.
Motion second to approve. Council, any comments or questions at this point?
Oh, thank.
Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Arsenko?
Aye.
Mr. Wolfram?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
aye.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Moving over to our ordinances, we have two this evening. Mr. Ratcher.
First one is an ordinance of the Municipality of Monroeville, Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, amending Ordinance 848, establishing a handicap parking only zone on Shady Ridge Drive in front of 414 Shady Ridge Drive. This is a matter that was tabled from last month, so if council desires to act on it, the first action should be to take it off the table.
I would like to make a motion to untable.
Second.
Motion and a second to untable. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Wolfram?
Aye.
Mr. Arsenko?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
It is off the table, and I believe there was some
Can-
information that we didn't have from last
Correct.
month, so.
Yeah,
Correct.
which
We
is
have that
why we
information.
tabled it.
Yes,
We
yes,
have it
we
now.
Yeah, we have it now.
Yes.
Okay, council is there.
Motion to approve.
I second it.
Motion second to
Yes.
approve. Any comments or questions, council? And staff is fine with everything? Mr. Little? Very
Yes,
good.
yes. Everything's in order.
Perfect. Roll call, please.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Arsenko?
Aye.
Mr. Wolfram?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Poach,
Aye.
Mrs. Gatos.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Mr. Ratcher.
An ordinance of the Municipality of Monroeville, Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, amending Ordinance 848, establishing a handicap parking-only zone on Heather Drive in front of 276 Heather Drive.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second to approve. Any questions or comments, council? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mrs. Gatos.
Aye.
Mr. Poach.
Aye.
Mr. Harvey.
Aye.
Mr. Wolfram.
Aye.
Mr. Ursinko.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Very good. Thank you, Mr. Ratcher. Moving over to reports of our municipal staff. Mr. Ratcher, do you have anything this evening?
I do not, well, I have one item. I just, best wishes to Mr. Wilson.
Very good, very good. Now, typically, we do have, okay, I'm sorry, I was out of order here. Mr. Little.
Yeah, the only item I have is a recycling event will be at the Public Works Building on Star Drive on April the 10th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Go onto our website, and it's always advantageous to register. And that's all I have, and also for Mr. Wilson to fast recuperating on his part.
Amen.
Very good. Our Director of Public Works and Engineering, Mr. Hugus. You want to come on back up?
I have a hard night tonight, Paul.
You like talking to us, huh, Paul?
I just want to talk to you.
It's always paving. It is busy paving season. Paul becomes a
Paul's got a
popular
tie
guy.
on and
So,
everything. yeah.
so every December, we always have to pass the fee schedule for each year. There was an oversight in the fee schedule when it comes to timber harvesting, which I know is a subject matter that is near and dear to our heart. But anyway, the fees that are in the timber harvesting section of the fee schedule reflect what occurred back before the Attorney General's office sued the municipality to change our rules and regulations. So our fees still reflect the days of when it was deemed a conditional use application, which a conditional use application is $2,000 per application. So we've been getting some pushback from people that want to do some timbering in the municipality, and the $2,000 doesn't seem to be a reasonable fee to pay to do timbering, because administratively, there's not a whole lot to do to review the applications. Before, when we got them in, they were conditional use applications, which means they were public hearings, and with the planning commission and with the council. We had to give it to consultants to look at because of steep slopes and landslides prone soils, which we can't do anymore. So they're pretty simple applications now, and therefore the fee should be lowered from a $2,000 down to something more reasonable. The problematic is it's an ordinance, so we'd have to advertise, get you guys advertised, authorized advertised for a revised ordinance for next month.
You have the reasonable idea?
Yeah, we've sort of been, right now in the ordinance, it says there's a minor timber harvesting, which is $200, and a major timbering, which is $2,000. We probably should reduce to $50 and $100 respectively for those two fees. And the difference between the two, basically, the benchmark is 2 acres or less, or 2 acres or more. That's where you go from a minor to a
Well,
major.
Mr. Hughes, don't we still send employees out there to make sure they're doing what they applied to do?
We do send them out, yes. There's not an entirely lot that they have to inspect, because most of it is erosion and sedimentation controls, which the county conservation district gets involved also. Yeah, we don't really have a whole lot of enforcement with it anymore.
Are you set on those numbers, the cost?
Yeah, I mean, when we look around the area to see what, what other communities are charging in other areas of the Commonwealth, that's pretty much what they are.
Okay.
But we have to revise the ordinance, we gotta advertise.
Yeah, so you're looking for direction on if we would approve to
Yes.
advertising.
Do you
Would
want to change the prices, and if you do, we have to advertise an ordinance to do so.
Well, Mr. Mayor, just have Tim.
Well, we
Have
did
it
motion to
advertised.
authorize to advertise.
Right.
Well, so the fees and it could be talked about between the manager and Mr. Hughes.
Yeah, and I mean, it can be left blank, and you can have some more discussion about it, and then you're gonna have to
Until
make a
they-
decision.
Yeah, we could
for next
advertise
month.
the
Yeah,
ordinance,
right.
and then it comes back in front of us. It'll be
Right.
at a public meeting. We can discuss it. And
We
then-
just wanted to offer you some explanation of why we need to change
Makes sense, yeah.
the figures.
Motion to
within the
advertise.
ordinance.
Thank you.
Second.
Second, roll call, please.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Wolfram?
Aye.
Mr. Arsenko?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Paul, anything else this evening?
No, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Mr. Mayor, just one follow-up comment to that. My recommendation would be to put the numbers Paul suggested into the draft ordinance. And then from there, you can lower them, raise them, whatever council's pleasure is.
Makes sense. Very good. You got that, Mr. Little?
Sure.
Perfect. Here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move over to our public comment on any municipal item. Anyone here that's in the audience would like to say anything about anything in the public? Now be your chance. Seeing none, we're going to close that portion. We're going to move over to our reports of council members and the mayor. And Mr. Arsenko, do you have something you want to talk about first, or?
What about Mr. Williams?
Well, you were just on the list as us. There was
Oh, yeah.
Your name
I,
is there.
I was gonna do that under my
You just want to do that in
report.
your report?
Yeah. I would like council to,
Didn't he just say yes?
wait a minute, you know I have hearing
You were on,
loss.
just so everybody knows, he's on, it's on, actually on the agenda, that you had like something to say or
All right, we'll
presentation.
quit making sport of you.
So Mr. Arsenko.
You said you were gonna say it under your report, so he was gonna move on.
Okay, I didn't hear him say that.
But if you would like to start with.
No, wait till my report.
Are you sure?
Are you sure?
We can help you.
Yes. I didn't hear him say it, I'm sorry.
Mr. Williams,
Yeah, I'd
anything
like
this evening?
I'd like Paul to give us an update on the zoning ordinance and let us know where we're at on that.
Good evening, Mr. Wilden,
Hello.
our zoning officer.
Yeah, so I've been working on the zoning ordinance, and we've got a lot of progress done since over the last few months. I've worked with Bob Ratcher a few times, got some things ironed out. Currently, what we're working on is revising the map. We have a couple of new districts we have to put on the map, but it's coming along. We're moving forward. I hope to get something to our consulting engineer, MS, to review here, in a month or two. But it's really come a long way, and it's pretty close to being ready to be reviewed by somebody outside the municipality.
Very good. And whenever you say new districts, these are districts that we never had before?
Correct. We have two new mixed-use districts, so that you can mix together commercial and residential. We never had that before. So we have two. One is called Boulevard, which would predominantly be along, like 22 and 48. And then we have a new C3 district, which would be maybe for like the Monroeville Mall area, where you could put some housing in next to commercial.
Very good. And then this is obviously a very long process, very, very long process, and you're doing a great job. And then with Mr. Ratch, from your standpoint though, like say, like these new districts, we can change zones, we can change districts unilaterally. I know that there was an applicant last month that wanted to rezone a property that, there was an applicant, but on our own, council can make changes to our zoning districts.
Yeah, designation of zoning districts is a legislative act. So just like council passes any other legislation, it's totally at their discretion. Now, there are some guardrails that the municipality's planning code puts down. There's a review process with the county, but you really have a lot of leeway to do it the way you think is appropriate for the community, based upon some of the other things you have, like the comprehensive plan, et cetera.
And all of that will be advertised again.
Certainly, yeah.
Public will obviously have a chance put their input in.
Yeah, it would all have to be done at a public meeting, but it's a way to definitely enhance the community, and that's what we're trying to do here, is to update our zoning ordinance. And
Keep us current.
Keep us current. So, great.
Okay.
Hey, Paul, thank you.
Mr. Williams, do you have anything else to add for your
Yeah,
report?
I do. First of all, happy St. Patrick's Day to all the residents of Monroeville, and if you go anywhere, be safe, get your COVID shots. I know a lot of people don't want to get it, but there's millions of people's already had it, and I haven't heard where anybody died from it yet. There's a 94-year-old man that accidentally got 2 shots in one day and ended up in the hospital, but I have not heard that he died. So get your COVID shots. wear your mask when you're around other people. It protects you and them, and wash your hands. Councilman Tom Wilson is under the weather tonight. I wish him a speedy recovery as our hearts and prayers go out for him and his family. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Now I'll do
Mr.
it.
Arsenko. It's
And
your
you know
turn.
what? Just for everybody knows that listening here and in the public, they
should all
do
get up
like
and
to
leave.
harass me. And you know, you all have to help me with these guys. But at any rate.
And after a
just
year,
kidding.
we are a little rusty.
Yeah, we're not.
We've been meeting in Zoom meetings, so actually
That's
getting in
true.
person
Not as
that
much
changed.
fun.
No, I would like to appoint Robbie Pyoth to our police pension committee, and with that appointment, I would need council's approval. So,
Motion to approve.
Second.
all in favor?
Oh, you would do
Doesn't he get to say that?
Hey,
Oh,
he used
yeah,
to be
well,
mayor.
I'm
He
sorry.
knows what's
Go ahead,
happening.
Mayor.
It is the deputy mayor.
All in favor?
Aye.
How'd I do that?
Aye.
Thank you.
Why I did that is to get even.
There you go, there you go.
Real
It
quick.
was habit, and yes, it's your appointment as well as the
Yes.
deputy mayor for these commissions, these committees and things of that nature. And Officer Pyoth, retired Officer Pyoth would do a great job. He was certainly involved with that while he was in uniform.
That is correct. And I just want to thank Robbie for putting in to help us out on that.
Absolutely.
And for everybody here, I know council got a copy of it. I just want to congratulate the administration. Obviously, council, our employees, we are for 2021 a banner community again, which is put out by Allegheny County Boroughs Association. And just thank you to everybody for all your good support on that. Real quick, and Tim, I'd like you to put this on. I'll send you a copy of it. You know the move over law, which is Act 105 of 2020, when you see any emergency vehicle on the side, you're to move over. Well, they just passed a new ordinance, a new law on that. If you're not able, just say you have a vehicle here and there's nothing you can do, you're supposed to slow down to 20 mile an hour, and you will not get a ticket for that. So Tim, I'm gonna ask you to please put that on the website. I'll send you that info. But just to know everybody, and that goes into effect April 27th, the new law. So, and I think that's very good, because what do you do? I mean, if you have a 18-wheeler over here and you're stuck, and then technically the way the law reads, you could get a ticket, but this straightens that out. And that's all I have, and thank you. Oh, Mr. Wilson, I'm sorry, Tom. We've been buds a long time. Please get better. We want to see you back up here on council. And thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Very good, thank you. Mr. Wolfram?
Very short and simple. I agree with everybody that says everything they say about congratulations and everything like that. And I just want to wish Mr. Wilson the best recovery he can and fastest.
Very good. Mr. Harvey?
Yes, I wanted to send out my compliments to the Allegheny Health Network, Highmark, Visit Monroeville, Monroeville Chamber of Commerce for organizing the vaccine site at the Monroeville Convention Center. I understand they'll be giving over 5,100 vaccines down there, and there was a lot of work put into that. And once again, Dr. Rubino and Sean Logan.
And Mr. Harvey, I'm sorry to clarify, those are already by appointment. They're already scheduled, so you can't just show up at the site.
Everything's back.
These are already booked up, so, but yeah, we do thank them for organizing it.
Right. My best wishes goes out to Tom Wilson. I hope and pray for his improving health. Wanted to wish a happy St. Patty's Day to everybody. I was very proud to see as many residents take an interest in the vacant committees. Now we have to make sure that they all become active. The mayor and council would love to see these committees have an input in our community. So once you're appointed, please get together, and any guidance, I'm sure Tim's office can help out. We have been so fortunate during this pandemic, I think, in Monroeville. Please don't let your guard down now. Like the sign says at 22 and 48, wear your mask, and continue to shop and
Wash your hands.
support and eat in Monroeville and support the small businesses.
Hear, hear.
Here is right.
The handicap signs that we have just approved, I think council needs to start to come up with I don't know whether it's an ordinance or a resolution or a set of rules, but you better watch out, because now every handicapped person in Monroeville is gonna want a sign in front of their yard. This is no offense to the ones that we just passed, I'm just saying, where does it stop? And you have to have some kind of definition, or every person in Monroeville that's handicapped is going to want a sign. And what I'm saying is, if they have a driveway, I don't believe they need a sign, okay? These are for people without driveways that have to park in front of their house. So we have to be more careful and diligent on where we permit these signs to be posted. Or every 4 houses on every street's gonna have a handicap sign put in front of it.
I agree.
So I just wanted to announce that. And last but not least, my wife's gonna be having knee surgery later this month, and I just wanted to tell her, if she's watching, don't worry about anything. Greg Arasinko said he'll come over and clean the house and do the laundry.
You see what I'm saying? I rest my case.
Are you making a motion? Is that a motion for that?
Oh, I'm just
come
gonna
on,
do that
man.
one.
Slow
Get
down.
that,
Aye.
get that on the book.
Aye.
Okay, very good, very good. Okay.
You guys gotta help me out of here.
Mr. Poach.
I just gotta recover for a second.
Take it easy, Eric.
Yeah, you in a maid outfit.
I catch you off guard.
Oh,
Yeah.
burn my
yeah,
eye.
Yeah, first of all, again, Tom, feel better. I know you're home working on your putting game, I hope. Yeah, we're doing that as well. It's certainly to get better soon. I know we've heard from him a couple of times as well. A quick thanks to Dave Palermo for a lot of years on the Police Civil Service Commission. He's moved now, to do that. Dave's an old friend and acquaintance of mine, and many of us up here too. So, good luck to him. He's moved to Oakmont. So, and finally, just some sympathy out to the Balsick family, to Dan.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to.
Who had passed away suddenly. To do that. Joe just retired last month, his brother. Yeah. To see them as well is quite a shock to all of us as well. So I hope the whole Balsick family's doing better through all of this as we stand too. So, and I think that's it for about now.
Thank you, Mr. Poach. Mrs. Gatos.
Yeah, I had, beginning with sympathies out to the Balsick family as well. On a sudden loss like that, it's very difficult. Also, we lost Kevin McFadden, who owned the Gateway Grill. That was sudden as well. So to his family during this difficult time. Mr. Wilson, I'm sure your pets as well, maybe not your wife, but I'm sure your pets are glad you're home recovering. And so I wish you and them the best, and hope to see you soon. Happy St. Patrick's Day and happy Easter, as we won't be back to council before Easter. And April 2nd is my mother's birthday, so happy birthday, Mom, love you. And that's everything for me.
Thank you, Mrs. Gatos. And I'll echo some of the things that my colleagues said. Deepest condolences to the Balsick family for their loss.
I forgot this.
And I want to thank our community partners, as was mentioned, AHN, Forbes, UPMC, the Chamber of Commerce, all that they're doing for the vaccinations. I know we have, Mr. Poach, I believe UPMC is looking at the
Yeah, there's a couple of, yeah, you're right.
one of the sites here as far as the fire.
It will, yeah, probably at the fire station. That'll be starting April the 1st, as well as, I believe we're still underway at the Doubletree. In addition to do that too. And, folks, it's almost, I wish there was one in every corner. It's every site by the ordinance from the state and by direction of the Secretary of Health and Order, the acting secretary, it needs an appointment. Just plain and simple, you have to make an appointment to do that. Please be patient after you make those appointments. They've unified that system now to apply that you can make that appointment, and some people were waiting until the vaccine was available then to contact you. You get in, you make your appointment to do this. Giant Eagle, everyone that's in place to do that. And then it's still contingent upon the availability of the vaccine, as it moving forward.
Mr. Poach, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is just going to go out to the teachers at first.
That's correct. That was the secretary and the governor actually first put that out too. So they want to have a rapid, deployment of that. That really just started being available publicly. It's not. It may be in Pennsylvania's hands tomorrow, if I heard the call right. They didn't have it in their hands in Harrisburg to start getting up, but they're going to start to work through that and work through some of the you know, the logistics of handling that to the teachers and educators, which is, you know, very substantial to do that. And then those vaccine productions will start ramping up as we move forward too. So let's get more.
Great, thank you.
Mayor.
And yes, once again, I want to thank just everyone involved in our community, our hospital systems, our healthcare organizations, the chamber, from the convention center, the DoubleTree, the county. I mean, everyone's really trying to chip in here. The fire departments are getting involved. In the municipality, we looked at the senior center as being a site as well. We had a site visit from UPMC, but it just wasn't exactly what they were looking for as far as the size. But we're all working towards the same goal here, and we're all pulling in the same direction. So once again, as Mr. Coach said, just be patient. There's a lot of resources as far as how to sign up on the municipal website, because there's also other private companies, Giant Eagle, Rite Aid, that have Sam's Club, I believe. All that information is on our website to get signed up. So but be patient, and we will get through this. And as a sign that we are getting through some things, we have a couple of events that are going to be coming up here in the community. Since Mr. Wilson's not here, we do wish him a speedy recovery, but he is the liaison for the Monroeville Senior Citizen Center. But I do have an announcement on behalf of Tom for the center that they are having their Monroeville Senior Center Community Bunny Hop Parade. Okay, it's Saturday, March 20th, from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. We're not going to let the coronavirus get in our way this year of having a little Easter excitement. Now, I'm reading something, folks. Please bear with me.
Don't tell me Greg's going to be
This
the
is a
bunny.
script.
Yeah, wait a while.
All right. So
They got the ears for
we're not going to let the coronavirus get in our way this year of having a little Easter egg excitement. We might not be able to have our typical egg hunts this year, but we have come up with a safe and creative alternative. Just stay in your car and give the Easter bunny a wave. Head over to the Monroeville Senior Center. Count as many eggs as you see from the car as you enter the driveway from the top of the library parking lot off of Gateway Campus Boulevard and all the way around through the Monroeville Senior Center building. Cars will be given a tally sheet as they enter, and you will submit your answers on the way out to receive a small treat and a chance to win prizes. All participating vehicles will be entered into a raffle. Fun-filled Easter baskets will be raffled, with the grand prize being a super-sized family fun Easter basket. This is a free, open to the community event. No need to register. Everyone is welcome to participate, so spread the word to your neighbors and family members. And the event is sponsored by the Monroeville Council of Senior Citizens, and all state and county COVID guidelines will be followed. But a special thanks to the staff over there and the Monroeville Council of Senior Citizens. They are still a very active board, and they're working to get through it. The center is opening up similar to how the library is, with all the restrictions, all the state and county restrictions, and we're just really trying to get back to normal here as a community. So that event, once again, is on Saturday, March 20th, 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Just show up. Another event that we have later in the spring, Saturday, April 24th, is our 26th annual Cleanup Day, the Jack Zedlack Memorial Cleanup Day. Saturday, April 24th, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. That is the design of the shirt for this year. Beautify your neighborhood, park, school, house of worship, or roadway. Tired of litter-strewn streets? Do you want a cleaner community in which to live, work, and play? How can you help? Well, you can join the Municipality of Monroeville, your neighbors, family, and friends for Cleanup Day. You select a roadway or park or neighborhood to wage your war on litter. You can register now by contacting the Parks and Recreation Department. I believe they'll have this online that you can submit that way, and also in person here, or even you call the office and get registered as well. Your registration deadline is Monday, April 19th, 2021. Last year they had to do it differently because of the pandemic. This year it's going to be a little different as well, but we're going to try to get back to normal. Mr. Zedlack assures me they always have a picnic every year. Last year we definitely could not, but we're going to try to find a safe way to do the picnic, socially distanced, maybe grab bags, things of that nature, but there's always a ton of prizes for Cleanup Day. It's always a great event. We pull a lot of garbage out of the community, so please get involved, and that appreciation picnic will be after the event at the Community Park West, immediately following the event, and join us for delicious food, entertaining company, and chances to win prizes. So it's a cooperative event by the PA Department of Transportation, the municipality, and you. All the supplies will be provided by us. All you got to do is sign up, grab a crew, and let's get at it. But that is Saturday, April 24th, 2021, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And Joe always does a great job, him and his brother Jay, every year for in honor of their father. So please join the municipality for that. Those are my two big commercials for the evening.
Oh, hold on, Mayor. Since you were giving Mr. Wilson's stuff out for the senior center, are you going to also, about the Park and Rec is also, I think, having a Easter egg thing? So
I
if
think
you
Gordon-
don't have the information, maybe Mr.
Yeah,
Essock
Gordon
would like
mentioned
to-
that at the start. And if,
Used over. I don't
do we have that information?
I don't have it
Date?
with me, but it's the 27th, it's the following Saturday.
Okay, so yes, the
From
week
11 to
after, so the
12:30
27th.
also.
And that'll
Yeah.
be at the community park. Once again, that is also an
Free
Easter
event, come through, yeah.
free event, drive by, see the Easter bunny.
Yep.
And all that is on our website as well, all the details.
And-
Yeah.
And Greg is volunteering.
And Greg will be
for that one
there.
also, so.
Mr.
No,
Cinco
we
will
have
be
a,
there.
we have a very pretty bunny. It's gonna be a very,
Thanks,
very,
Mr.
very
Harvey.
pretty bunny.
But I got started.
Very good.
So, but I just wanted to make sure that people knew there was two events that, the borough was doing.
Yep, great,
They're up.
great,
So-
very good. So, and as everyone else said, Tom, Mr. Wilson, hopefully you're feeling better, and we want to get you back up here as soon as possible. And with that, I'll seek a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you and good night.